look at investment real estate through a different lens, through the lens of failure. This is not HGTV. Things don't always magically work out. Failure is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, but most importantly, an amazing teacher. We have failed more than most have tried, but because of our failure, we have succeeded. These are the stories that have turned average real estate investors into the battle-tested superstars that they are today. Welcome to The Flipping Reality.
Hello everybody, Brian and Nico here with the Flipping Reality podcast, where we share the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything that we're working on here in beautiful Detroit. Won't always be Detroit, but we're going to share some of the past projects that we've kind of taken on.
Yeah, one of my favorites, personally.
Yep, so this one is Pepto.
Yes.
And so Pepto is the first house that I think we feel like we got right.
Yeah. From the purchase of it to the finishing of it to the sale of it, it was a really, really great house. That's not to say there wasn't struggles though.
Occasionally we have struggles, not many, but from time to time we do have struggles. So we're gonna follow like the good, the bad, the ugly format. So the good stuff that we came across is we learned a lot from layout, and we came across a really good buyer who we still talk to today. The bad is some of the sewer stuff that we had to deal with, and the contractor that we were working with to fix that, some drain stuff. And the ugly is we had a break-in post close, and that's a whole story that we're gonna share with you. So. But talking about the good of this house, I mean, I think the really good thing about this house, once everything was said and done, so we are focused on the east side of Detroit, in a neighborhood called Islandview, which is like the first neighborhood to the east of downtown Detroit. And for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of really good stuff happening in downtown Detroit, and billions of dollars is being spent on the actual downtown area, which is now getting pushed out into the neighborhoods. And so Islandview is this neighborhood. It's the first neighborhood to the east of downtown, and there's a lot of remodeling, revitalization, and repairs that are happening here.
And even some new builds.
Which is really cool. So, but with this particular house, the kind of the big learnings that we had, we bought it. It was, I don't know, maybe 1,600 square feet. It's a brick colonial type. I don't know how you would. It's not a colonial.
It's not a colonial.
It's a 2-story brick house. Down here they're called 4 squares.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically you walk in, there's a foyer, and then next to it is a living room, and then opposite of that is your dining room,
kitchen,
and then the kitchen. So that they call those the 4 square. And with this particular house, so it was 4 squares, about 1,600 square feet on the first and the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we always try to do, since all these houses basically have attic access, we finish the 3rd floors. And so
this one had the perfect space in the 3rd floor. It was, how many square feet was up there?
Probably 400 square feet.
4 to 5. And it had a dog house already, so enough room to add a full-size full bath.
The nice part about the 3rd floor is, as the deeper into this we go, we're learning that if the 3rd floor has a dormer, we call them dog houses, or a shed. So there's a dormer on the front of the house, and then there's a dormer on the side of the house. And what those dormers do is they just provide head height, which is wonderful. So with this particular house, we didn't have any issues with head height going up the stairs.
No.
That wasn't an issue. But the dormer in the middle part of the 3rd floor on the side, that allowed the perfect spot to be able to add that 3rd floor bathroom.
Yeah, and it also brings in a lot of natural light up there, so it feels less like an attic. So it's nice.
Significantly less like an attic. One of the things that we learned, one of our flipper friends down here, on his 3rd floors, he's putting in skylights.
Yeah.
And those skylights seem to really make a difference. They bring up a little.
That.
We should.
Yeah.
And so
next one.
So there's always learning, which is good. But here's the nice part. So we got this 4 square house that we bought. It was like 40 grand that we purchased it for. We owned it for about a year, and it's this brick house. and it's called the Pepto house because it was pink. Did it stay
Pepto.
pink?
It definitely did not. I like pink, but not on my house. It turned green, so we turned it to Pesto once it sold. But to be honest, it's always going to be Pepto.
It will always be Pepto.
Another good thing about that house was that it was on a block that a lot of other renovations were happening, including some of our projects. So it was like transforming the entire block. And I think that really helped with resale too.
One of the things that we're learning is as we go through this neighborhood revitalization, you know, we're not just flipping houses anymore, we're revitalizing this specific neighborhood. We focus on Islandview, but there's also East Village and West Village and Indian Village over here. So we kind of focus in this core area. But as we're revitalizing a neighborhood, one of the things we've learned is if you can make the end cap of a street nice, it is a wonderful way to welcome people in. And conversely, if that end cap house is not nice or updated, or it's beat up or it's nasty, then people pull into the street and that's the first thing they see, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a war zone, or this is bad.
Yeah. We got lucky because it was on a corner house, and then the neighbor across the street, while we were working on Pepto, redid their siding. So it was like both end caps from that side got fixed up at the same time. So it was really nice.
It is really nice. Now that block, you know, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 houses on that block. And from the time we started here, which is like a little bit over 2 years ago, to now, you go onto that block now and it's unbelievable. Like it feels like
it's so different.
Completely different. And then as you continue to go down that, what has happened is that it's been a house of cards in a good way. Like neighbors have started fixing up their houses. And then people have started like also flipping in that area and fixing up those properties. And then we're just wrapping up right now the house at the other end of that block.
Yeah.
So now we got both end caps. So 3 out of the 4 houses on that block are nicely done. And so we don't have the 4th one. We're kind of stuck looking at that one on Goth.
Oh yeah.
Directly across from the duplex.
That's the one left that needs to be taken care of.
It does. So, but the nice part about this is that, you know, with these 4 square houses, like we really feel like we figured out, you know, since people are looking for charm and character, we figured out what the first floors need to look like, which, you know, that house in particular, but the first floor for sure is like one of your favorites.
Oh my gosh, I love it. When you walk in there, it just feels so good. It's so good. We added a half bath in the foyer. There's plenty of room. They're usually what, like 10 by 10 foyers? Yeah. Roughly?
Yeah, about that.
So plenty of space to add a half bath and a bench system. And then you have the living room. We always add typically we always add a fireplace wall for a feature. And then the kitchen is kind of tucked away in the back corner, but it's kind of closed and not super open, but it's not too tight either.
Yeah. It came out really well, nice and rich, and like, you know,
4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, probably 2,000 square feet when we were done.
Yeah.
A little over, maybe.
About that. Some of the details Nicole put in on the fireplace went into the kitchen, like these little slotted pieces of wood. I don't know, trim, I don't know how to describe it, but you know, so that came out really well. So like the end product we were super pumped with. And then because of that, we sold that house opening weekend, or like the first week that it was on the market. And the buyer of that house is somebody that super nice guy, him and his wife, like they're really good people. Yeah. And we've talked with him a bunch. And it's pretty cool. He's getting really involved in the community, which is really nice. And we're getting some insider info from him now that he's living down here, which is cool. So we liked the house. Turned out great. It went from Pepto to Pesto, from pink to green. Looks beautiful. As we transition over to the bad, like one of the things that we dealt with that was such a challenge was the sewer on this house. And a lot of times you can do these spot repairs, and those are relatively easy. And then sometimes you do this repair.
21 feet down.
Oh my gosh.
Under the alley.
It was crazy. And you know what we forgot? Like the first guy that we used, he had a excavator that was way too small.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about this. He had an excavator that was way too small, and he dug his way down, and then he tried to like keep going down to deal with it, and then he got his excavator stuck in there, right?
Oh, yeah. And it broke.
And then that was the whole thing. Then we had to hire a different guy to come in and kind of do it the right way, and he, you know, like you open up this spot in the backyard and it just kept going down and down and down. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think once everything was said and done, I think it was like $10,000 or $11,000 to,
which is a really good price for something that deep.
mm-hmm.
Because we've had quotes for the similar situation for 17 or 18,000. We got that for 10 to 11, so I thought that was pretty decent.
Yeah, that was good, but it took a minute. It was challenging, and you know, but they were able to finally figure it out,
Yeah.
which is really good.
It's also scary having a hole that deep, wide open, back of an alley.
Oh God, yeah.
So the quicker you can get it filled in, the better.
Yeah, you get in and get done as fast as possible for everybody's sake, like just significantly better.
Yeah.
So we get the sewer done, we close it up, everything's good. You know, house is on the market, it goes pending, we get our inspection stuff done, and these particular buyers, they lived out of state. So we go to the closing, we sign all the documents to hand over the house to them. However, there was a couple of things that needed to be done post-close on our list.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to get everything wrapped up as fast as possible. And we're like, okay, let's close with an addendum, you know, to where it's like, okay, we'll close an escrow and we'll get the stuff across the finish line. So these guys close, we close on it, we get, you know, everything gets paid off, we get the money for the house, and we have to do a couple of things. And that closed, I think, on a Friday, and then Saturday night, the house gets broken into.
But we don't know about it till Monday.
So we don't know about it. At that time, we didn't have our security anywhere near as tight as what it needed to be. So super frustrating. So Monday, walk up, I look, and the first thing I see is a door handle just sitting on the front porch. And you're like, come on.
I think we were on the phone with each other, and you were like, oh, no.
Just brutal. Unfortunately, you know, part of this space, this world, is when construction is happening, you know, people are just watching. There's eyeballs kind of everywhere. So the dumpsters are dead giveaways. If there's a lot of work trucks nearby, there's a lot of dead giveaways for that type of stuff. So there's always people watching, and somebody broke in. We didn't have our security protocol in place quite yet then. And, you know, now we paid the price. So I go and I look, the door handle's on the ground. I go to the side of the house. There's a side exit door that's wide open, and you know what you're getting ready to find. And so walk inside, and the fireplace is missing. The stove is gone.
The microwave.
Everything, including that stupid kitchen sink.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
You
That
remember
was like
that?
a blessing. I ordered this sink that I had seen. It was like supposed to be super fancy, where it had like waterfall coming this way, a waterfall this way, had its fancy cutting board. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. It was all digitalized and got a good deal on it.
It seemed...
It was a piece of junk.
It seemed awesome. It was a Temu special.
It was such a TV special.
Oh my gosh. It didn't work properly. It was all weird as hell.
That was a blessing.
And it was not easy to install. The guys hated it. So we walk in, and the kitchen sink, they stole everything, including the kitchen sink. And we were laughing at them,
yeah.
Like, have fun trying to install that thing, because that was a complete thorn in our side.
That sink did not go back in once we replaced it.
So we got a new sink there, which is good. And then we walked downstairs. Now, thankfully, for whatever reason, what happened with the fridge? It didn't fit. We bought a fridge because the fridge did not get stolen. There was a giant cavity there. I think what happened is we ordered a fridge and it didn't fit. So we took it out, and then we sold the house without a fridge, which is kind of like a learning that we've had. You know, we put the appliances in, but we leave the fridge. It costs us a bunch of money to fridge them. Fridge them. And people are kind of fridge specific, and it doesn't seem to impact
the sale,
at least thus far. So
I like having the fridge in there because it looks like a finished product, but honestly, it hasn't hurt.
Not yet.
Selling them, and that saves us a good $1,000 to $1,500 at least.
Yeah. And so I think we bought a fridge. I don't think it fit, and then we took it to a different house. So then I go downstairs to the basement, and of course the furnace, the hot water tank, those are both gone. So we lost a furnace, a hot water tank, a stove, a microwave, a fireplace. Had to fix the door handle.
And they scratched my beautiful engineered floor in a spot, so we had to repair that.
So that part was super frustrating.
Yeah.
And it was a dark floor, so it was super obvious.
You're gonna steal our stuff. Can you at least do it with caution?
I know. It would be nice. The nice part is they do turn the gas off typically when they steal our furnaces. So at least we're not walking into a giant fireball of an explosion.
Right.
And so, but yeah, so here's something that's interesting. Here's like a big lesson learned about that. So a good thing about like having a lot of houses in one area is that, you know, your guys are nearby, you know, you get economies of scale being really close. A bad thing is they broke into that house, and they broke into a second house that we had that weekend.
Same weekend.
I think they stole the furnace, the fridge, and something else.
The hot water tank was on the side of the house.
Yeah.
That's how we recognized.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they also broke into, there's a nonprofit right down the street. They broke into that place and stole a whole bunch of stuff. It's nonprofit. I'm not going to say much more than that because they want to kind of remain like a little anonymous with the stuff that they're working on. But obviously nonprofit, they do everything to like get as many donations to be able to do this amazing cause.
Yeah. It was devastating.
And they stole all of their stuff. But haha. We've had theft before, and one of the learnings we've had is, guess what? Put an air tag, put a tracker on your stuff, because if somebody does break in and they do steal it, then you at least know where it is. So we had trackers on our stuff. So we called the police, we got them out there, and we said, hey, here's our air tag, which I wouldn't recommend an air tag going forward because they're kind of janky. There's definitely better GPS trackers. But an air tag does a good enough job. And what happened was it was showing exactly where the stuff was. So, so the police is like, yeah, we will go and track it down.
Was this our first experience with them?
I
think it was.
I mean, it's our first good experience in that regard.
Yeah. Because we met like the lieutenant in charge, and they really took it seriously. It was very impressive.
They did. So here's what happened. This is crazy. So we have the air tag, and in Apple phones it's Find My. So Find My pulls the map up, shows that it's like 1.5 miles down the street is where everything is. So they sent over like this undercover unit, and they're watching the house, and lo and behold, like there's our stuff in a trailer, and it's a giant trailer full of stuff. They nabbed the guy, and what happens was, this is crazy. They broke in at like 4 a.m, if I remember properly. They broke in at 4 a.m, and at 10 a.m, that's when like the guy was getting ready to leave, and he was delivering all of the stolen merchandise to people's houses that purchased it.
It was already bought. Stolen stuff was already bought.
It's crazy.
Within hours.
So I don't know if they were like, you know, people reach out to them like, hey, I need a furnace or a hot water tank, or, you know, I'll give you $200, and they go find it. And so yeah, so this stuff was on a trailer on its way to get delivered. The police, undercover, nab this guy, and then from there, they trace it back. He was apparently the second set of hands to touch it. They trace it back to whoever like the person was that like did this. They found over 100 hot water tanks in that guy's basement, all stolen, all because of our one air tag. And then the thing that was interesting about that, couple things, sometime later, months and months and months later, I went into the lieutenant's office to talk with him about some stuff, and I look, and there's a photo of like all their guys like doing like, I don't know, super troopers, like just like in front of all these hot water tanks. They were so jazzed. They were so pumped at this 100, hot water tank bust. But I forgot, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. They were super pumped just to get the stuff.
Just to get the stuff to begin with.
So Nicole and I went to the police. It wasn't the impound lot, but where they kind of keep everything. And do you remember what happened when all the stuff was there? It's the truck and the trailer and all this stuff.
They impounded the truck and trailer.
They impounded the truck and trailer. You weren't there for it. Remember, I was grabbing all the stuff. I was loading it over. And the guy that owned the truck, his wife came up there. And she started mother effing me. What are you doing?
I remember you telling me that.
Yes, she started doing that. She got up there because her husband was in trouble. It sounded like he was like the delivery guy. So it didn't sound like he was in on it. I think he was just the guy that moved stuff. He didn't know what he was delivering.
I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he didn't not know. But they impounded the truck, the trailer, and all the stuff. And then she got up there to like look at it. And I'm in his truck, like getting all my stuff back because he threw it everywhere.
Awkward.
And she was screaming at me. I'm like, hey, lady, like, this is all my stolen stuff right here. So I'm sorry that your husband got busted. Marry up a little bit and find somebody that's a better criminal. Seriously.
Tell her. Did you tell her that?
I should have. So she was mad. I'm like, hey, you talk to these guys about what's going on. Like, I'm just grabbing my stuff. So we grabbed all the stuff. We got the nonprofit, all of their stuff was in there.
Yeah.
So I called him, let him know. He was like doing a backflip. We got all of our stuff back, which was great. But we got all of our stuff back from the house that wasn't this Pepto house. If you remember, we weren't able to recover.
They must have already sold it. Was it this situation where we found that the houses were broken into around 9 in the morning?
Yeah.
And by 3 we had the trailer stuff back?
Yeah, it was that quick. It was quick. It was nuts. And here's the funny part. So we had trackers and air tags on it. And do you remember, we were like, we got to go find out where this is at. And we started driving.
Before the police even came, I think.
Before the police even came. And then we thought it was at like this laundromat. And then our neighbor was there. We're like, did he do it? Like, what is happening?
Someone we like really trust.
And then it just wound up being bad timing.
It makes you really question
oh my gosh.
everything.
And so it was kind of a crazy situation. But at the end of the day, when it comes to working in maybe more of like a urban environment that's going to be prone to break-ins and stuff like that, definitely recommend getting some type of GPS tracker, an air tag. Put that on your furnaces, your hot water tanks,
also,
your air conditioning units, your fridges, your stoves,
even your windows.
And your windows.
Also, the lieutenant recommended that we write down all the serial numbers along with obviously having the receipt, and to like inscribe in the furnace somewhere, like inscribe it, your own serial number, your name, something that they can identify it, that it's yours if they do recover it.
Yeah, there's a lot of times they say they recover a lot of stuff, and then it just goes to a warehouse because they don't know whose it is.
Yeah.
So for us, our company was 1701, so you could put 1701 in there. You could put our name. You could put the address of the house. Like any of that stuff would work. But yeah, that was a scenario where the Detroit Police Department, 7th Precinct, they were wonderful. They tracked our stuff down. They were ambitious. They were excited to do it. They did an undercover operation, which is not the first time that they did that. They did an undercover operation where they set 2 separate sets of people, because we were having a bunch of break-ins a long time ago. 2 separate sets of undercover cops inside of our houses overnight because they just kept getting broken into. the funny part about that is that they broke into that house. I don't know if you remember, earlier that day at like 8 p.m. and they sent their undercover people there at like 11.
What's it, baby?
That was the foundation house. And so, but they were willing to do it. I've met with the police chief of the 7th precinct, and like they are like, listen, like you guys are doing, I mean, this is like legit too. They're like, you guys are doing so much work over here. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to like support you, because you're rebuilding this community, and you can't have a community rebuild if your projects keep getting broken into.
Yeah,
So
it's really nice to have that extra support from them when we need it.
yeah, that part,
They've been great.
that part was has been wonderful. So I think in general, I mean, that's kind of like the takeaways from Pepto. I mean, we learned about the right layout, we learned about charm and character, you know, we learned about the super deep furnace sewers there, and kind of the challenges. You got to find the right people that can handle the job,
and the right security,
and then and then the break-in, and then at the end of the day, we paid for all of the stuff to get repaired, to get fixed, and all that stuff, because we felt like we were responsible for that house. So, you know,
it's not a way we want to hand over a new buyer their house.
Seriously,
there you go, no furnace.
Moving here from a different state, like, hey, that house you just purchased got broken into. Here's your keys. Like, that was rough. So we didn't want to do that. So we handed it over to them exactly how they purchased it, and none the wiser, but they couldn't tell the difference. They are absolutely aware of the situation. We let them know what was going on, and we let them know that we're going to fix it. So
yeah,
I think the Pepto house, at the end of the day, like, a ton of lessons from it, and we've got a lot of learnings, and we shared a lot of them with you. I think, you know, if you're interested in seeing like more of this stuff, we have it on the Flipping Reality socials,
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
At some point I'm going to have some long form YouTube content on there. Hopefully that'll be by the time this goes up, but other than that, like, you'll be able to see like the houses, and we've been stockpiling video. We just have not had time to like go through and put a concentrated effort on making this happen. So, but we are now. That's what happens. That's 6 years of working with this lady. And so I don't know. So that is what we have for today. We are here in crispy Detroit with its 6 degrees outside, but sunny.
Sunny is helping.
It's massive. And so, but stay tuned for the next podcast that we're going to have, which I think is actually going to be on that foundation house.
And so we're the other one that got broken into that day.
Yep. So we can talk about the other side of that next time, and then hopefully there's some good lessons along the way, and hopefully you can learn from all of the painful mistakes that we've had.
Yes.
So have an awesome day, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.